Hello everyone and welcome to Sydney. Today we're at 107 Projects for the PlayFare Indie Game Showcase. There are over 20 games being featured today. There are board games, video games, role-playing games, you name it. There's also Mountain Goat Beer providing beer tasting, and there's also retro games thanks to 1989 Arcade Bar. My name is Yoshi, and you can live vicariously through me as I experience this event for Gamers Classified. I'm here with Yanni, the co-founder, producer and writer at Delusional Inc. Hey Yanni, how are you?
Hi Yoshi, good, thank you.
Alright, so tell us, what kind of games does Delusional Inc. make?
So Delusional Inc. Creates Agent of Love. It's one of our first games that we've created. It's a visual novel game based on an otome josei genre. So otome is basically romance games for with maidens. And josei is aimed for mature audiences, so for mature adults. Mainly because most of our stories cover topics that can be triggering for people. So, but we try to make the games more realistic, and so people can immerse into it and enjoy it, basically.
All right, so tell us, how did you have the idea to make this genre of games, of all of the first-person shooter or whatever? How did you decide on this one?
Oh, because we like to play ourselves. So basically, Delusional Inc. started out with us two girls, because there's me and my co-founder. And there's two of us girls that like to play visual novels, and we also like to read as well. And we thought, well, why don't we make our own? And that's how we started.
Sounds good. So are there any age restrictions on your games?
There is. Because it's a josei genre, we've put a 15 plus restriction on it. Because as I mentioned earlier, the topics that we cover can be triggering to some. And because Agent of Love is based on detective stories, murder mysteries as well, so we do cover.
Sure. So speaking of Agents of Love, can you tell us a little bit more about the story for this game?
So basically, you play as the main protagonist, which is a woman. She's a detective, and you go through different mysteries. So you get to choose between 6 different guys, but only 2 are currently released so far. And depending on which guy you choose, you actually choose a case file that you go and solve. And depending on your choices, you can have 3 different endings. So happy ending, normal, and bad ending. So not only do you go and romance these guys, but you also have to solve the case.
Alrighty. So if people wanted to romance these guys and solve the cases, how can they purchase your game?
Our game, Agent of Love, is available on the Play Store and App Store. So if you do a search for Agent of Love, you'll be able to find us, and you can download it and read it at your leisure.
For sure. And with Delusional Inc., if they wanted to stay in touch with you, how can they do that?
We have a Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter. So you can follow us on our social media pages. We've also got a YouTube page where you've got... we also have a theme song that's already out as well, and you can also find it on Spotify.
Sounds interesting. So if you don't mind, I might go and do that. So Yanni, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for your time too.
I'm here with Fen Reliania, who is the developer of 2 games. Hey Fen, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you.
All right, so tell us about these 2 games.
So over here we have the Ghosts of Doubt in the Realm of Fog. I made that title and yet I keep forgetting it. It's an unreleased, real basic first-person shooter that's pretty much 110% aesthetic. And this is CGA Hell, which is also 110% aesthetic. It's an atmospheric horror experience, pretty much just dedicated to showing off this horrible palette.
So in addition to game development, you've also written Rites and Rituals, which is like a prompt manual for RPG games. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so it's basically a whole bunch of world building and flavor text that's mostly intended to help help you like spice up a roleplay setting in like a tabletop game, but it's also good for just like writing prompts or even just like reading. It's just like nice to read, honestly.
Definitely.
And like I'm hoping to do more of them. Like this one's eight different like spells essentially. But I'm really like interested in going down a lot of that sort of stuff. I've got like a deck of cards that I'm planning to put together for like stuff like that. So like yeah, I got a fair few things.
Well, it's a great idea, and thank you for helping us out when we're suffering from writer's block.
Yeah, no worries. I hope it helps.
So these games are not quite released yet, but if people were interested in staying up to date with them, how can they do that?
So I'm pretty active on Twitter at Fenreliania, which that's FenReliania. Or I put all my games up on itch.io, also fenreliania.itch.io. But I release sort of early builds and preview stuff as well on my Patreon, which same name on Patreon, links in Twitter and stuff like that.
That's good. Well, we wish you all the best, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
I'm here with James from Mountain Goat Beer. Hey James, how are you?
Very well, thank you, Yoshi.
All right, so tell us, how did Mountain Goat Beer get involved with PlayFare?
We got involved here with PlayFare. Basically, we work quite closely with 107 Projects here in Redfern, we do a lot of work with them in terms of selling a lot of beers and playing around with them, different sort of marketing and different events throughout the year. We were approached by the Dario and Jackson who work here about getting involved this year, and of course, naturally, we're going to say yes, we will get involved in the event. And they told us about the PlayFare and how they were sort of promoted to an inner sort of Sydney gaming kind of team, which is something a little bit new for us in terms of realising there's actually a gaming sort of culture out there in Sydney. So it sort of was a bit of a hand in glove fit the way it all came across. We devoted a lot of our beers last year to some different video games last year. You see up there, there's the Rye Fighter, which is another Street Fighter, Legend of the Goat, hence Zelda. There was also Lime Crisis, which is a reference into Time Crisis, and also Westy Kong as well, which is the Donkey Kong theme. So we just sort of thought, what if we want to bring some good beers in here and have a good time with all the video gamers? They're putting on a video game theme type thing, and we thought, well, we've got all the artillery to sort of, collate with it all, and brought a couple of other beers here with us too, and that's how it just sort of happened. Yeah, it's quite organic, really. Yeah.
Definitely. So speaking of the beers that you have today, there's a particular rare breed that you're showcasing today?
Yeah, so that's called, if you pan the camera up here, it's called the Hello Humanoid Double IPA. This is our, it's sort of an extra Cosmo out of this world kind of style beer. So we've moved away from the video game theme, which we did last year. We did movies the year before. And this year it's just kind of just like a bit of a brewer's choice type thing. Just sort of make up sort of a bit of a space, a bit of an idea, sort of create a new beer with different style of hops, which haven't been used so much here before in Australia. So we got our hands on some nice rare species of hops, which was good. And I think it just sort of all came into the one piece. It was turned into an alien beer, and hence, Hello Humanoid was born. And it's only been pouring for a day or two in Sydney, so it's slowly getting it out and about. It's a bloody tasty beer.
I have done some taste testing, and I can confirm that.
Yes.
All right, so if people wanted to try out your beers or catch up with you at other events, how can they get that information?
Probably the best bet is just to contact us at goatbeer.com.au. That's probably your best point of call, or give us a call down there on the phone number, which is on the website. Check out our Instagram pages and Facebook pages, again at Goat Beer. That always tells you where we're sort of playing in the event space. But anywhere around Sydney, Melbourne, a lot of regional places now too. We're all over the state, Brisbane, Perth, Hobart.
Yep, so get in touch. James, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Joshi. Thank you.
I'm here with Jeremy, the co-founder of Armoured Beans. Hey Jeremy, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
All right, so tell us, why is your company named Armoured Beans?
That's a good question. I don't actually know the answer myself. We just had to come up with a name, something that was maybe a bit SEO friendly, that was easy to find on the internet, and we just came up with two words, stuck them together, and that's how we got it.
Not bad. So tell us about the game that you're showcasing today.
Yeah, so Crypto Crisis is a resource management game. It's a simulation. You play the life of a Bitcoin miner. So you build up rigs, you add like CPUs and GPUs to your rigs, you increase your hash rate, stuff like that. You get your Bitcoin, and then you sell that on the market for money.
Sounds like real life.
Yeah, it's pretty. We tried to simulate it pretty closely. All the Bitcoin network mechanics and stuff like that are pretty similar, pretty closely simulated. So yeah.
All right, so if people wanted to purchase this game, how can they do that?
Well, you can check us out on our website. That's armored-beans.com, or just search for Crypto Crisis on the Steam store.
Everyone be sure to do that. Jeremy, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
I'm here with Lee Harris, the lead designer from Flat Earth Games. Hey Lee, how are you?
I'm exhausted.
Well, you have just recently released Object in Space. Can you tell us about this game?
Yeah, it's been a 5-year production, and we released it at 9 o'clock last night. So it's an interesting day for me. I woke up to the very first review of the game. It's an open world space game, so you've got your own ship, you fly around, buy and sell goods, take jobs, talk to characters, be a pirate or a smuggler or that sort of thing. Okay. But we base the ships on submarines, so you don't look out the front window and try and see enemies to shoot. You're doing like long range stuff over nav maps and things like that.
Sounds like a sophisticated version of Battleship. The old one.
Yeah, it's a mishmash of a bunch of different games. Like a lot of them really early 90s stuff. There's like a bit of Elite in there and some old Microprose games and Subsims and things. And like mixed with a bit of more contemporary big open world games. So like, Elder Scrolls sort of stuff, but without like a big through line of a hero's journey, just heaps and heaps of side quests everywhere.
All right. And as if that wasn't keeping you busy enough, you've also just presented a talk today. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I was on my laptop finishing the talk up until 5 minutes before it was due to start. I called it Unexpected Consequences. And
of not preparing?
It was kind of, we made some decisions about what the game was going to be really early on, and the ramifications of those decisions meant that we had to make a much, much bigger and more complicated game than we realized. So it was kind of a talk that just shows, like, these were the starting points. These were the things we decided. But because of these, we had to do this. Because of those, we had to do these. And because of these, we had to do this. And so it was just this, like, big, sprawling, here's how it ended up being 5 years of my life, when it really should have been much smaller.
5 months of my life. So, Flat Earth Games, I must ask you, what shape do you think the Earth is?
What was it? Oblique spheroid, I think. Yeah, we've started getting a lot of people who are like following us on Twitter or sending us emails with like, Truthseeker69 as their handle, and we're like, oh, no. This is not. In fact, our publishers, who were doing business with us for quite a while, at a point on one of the conference calls was like, oh yeah, by the way, what's up with your name? And we're like, what do you mean? Oh, you actually think... No, we're not flat earthers. We just thought the name sounded cool. It was kind of a little bit alarming to realize how many people probably think that.
Unintended consequences.
Indeed.
So if people wanted to purchase your games or stay up to date with what you're doing, how can they do that?
Well, Objects in Space has just hit Steam and GOG. So you can get it on either Steam or GOG. We'll probably release it on our own website soon, which is objectsgame.com. And yeah, they can follow us on Twitter at objectsgame, and we are very active on there. All those things.
Okay. Well, Lee Harris, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
I'm here with Marcus, aka Invert Mouse. Hey Marcus, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. How are you?
I'm not too bad, thank you. All right, so today you're showcasing Clear. What can you tell us about this game?
Yeah, so Clear is a survival horror inspired by games like Resident Evil, Alien Isolation, etc.
Sure. So can you tell us a little bit about the main character, or would that be giving too much away?
No, I think it would be okay to give a little bit away. So you play as Claire, of course. Your parents are scientists, and in this game, the test subjects have escaped, and so Claire needs to find her way out of the mansion, hopefully save her family, and come out alive.
All right. So if people wanted to purchase this game, how can they do that?
Yeah, the game is not actually out yet. I'm hoping to release it on June 2nd, but fully open to having to extend that deadline to make the game as good as possible. My plan, because I've always wanted to release a game on Switch, PlayStation, just consoles. So I'm going to put together an official demo, and then I'm going to show that to publishers. Hopefully, get some interest, and then go from there.
So if people wanted to stay up to date with that process, do you have any website or social media where they could find that out?
Yeah, pretty much everything Invert Mouse, invertmouse.com, facebook.com, Invert Mouse, Twitter, Invert Mouse. Yeah.
Well, Marcus, aka Invert Mouse, good luck and thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thanks very much.
I'm here with Paul, the developer behind Adventure Boy Cheapskate. Hey Paul, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
All right, so tell us, what goes on in this game?
So this game is about a teenage boy. He's riding his bike to the store, but he's a real cheapskate. He has not much money at all. He's got about 25 cents. So he's trying to buy something, and while he's at the back of the store, somebody steals his bicycle and rides off with it. So the game is about trying to find the guy who stole your bike. And as you're looking around the town, you'll find that a lot of other people around there have also had their things stolen too. So we're dealing with a cat burglar in this game. And along the game, you kind of try to track him down without spending any money. So there's this old story about a guy on eBay who he sold the cheapest thing that he could find. And then he got a little more money, and then he bought something, and then he sold a little more. And then eventually he started building up enough funds to buy a house.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's real or not, but you get to kind of do something like that in our game. You find the most useless possible item that you could find, and then you trade it to the right person to get something slightly more valuable, and then eventually you get the one thing that he needs most of all, his bicycle.
That sounds really interesting and definitely unique. So tell us, how did you get into game development?
Well, I think when I was in high school, I had a friend who was learning programming. He was doing ActionScript in Flash, and me and him decided to work together to try to make a game as a team. So we actually started this in high school, and it took quite a long time. I was 16 when I began the project, so I wrote the scenario at 16, but then it took a really long time to develop it. So between then and now, we got the game that you're looking at now. But as for my introduction to game development, basically I wanted to make TV shows, and I wanted to make my own cartoon series, but that's really difficult. It's really hard for independent people to make cartoons and animation. So I figured making games as an independent person is actually pretty achievable. Even if it's a 2D game, 2D animation, that's really taxing, but in video game development, it's quite easy and quite achievable. So that's kind of my stand-in for making a TV series. If I could make a TV series, it would be a lot like this, but this is what I can do on my own.
Well, we wish you all the best with your TV career. And if people wanted to purchase this game or stay up to date with you, how can they do that?
Yeah, so this game is actually available for free. If you look on your browser, you can go to Newgrounds or Congregate. But you can also go to Steam if you want to help support me. You can buy the deluxe version, which is, I would say it's about a 2-hour game. And the deluxe version will help me support the sequel. And I'm working on the sequel on my own in Unity. I'm stepping up from Flash, and I just need a little bit of support. So you can jump on Steam and just look up Adventure Boy Cheapskate DX.
Well, Paul, we wish you all the best, and thank you very much for your time.
Oh, thanks so much.
I'm here with Jared from Battery. Hey, Jared, how are you?
Hey, Yoshi, how you going?
Not too bad, thank you. So I hear that you're quite involved with the music aspect of PlayFare. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so I've curated all the live music for the event in collaboration with Jackson from 107 and Dario.
Yeah.
So it goes back a long way. We met for a coffee about 9 months ago, and I had this crazy idea of trying to actually just putting on a battery gig here at 107 because it's such a great venue. Because I earlier last year I played at a festival in Melbourne called Square Sounds, which is an awesome sort of chiptune festival that's been going for 10 years. And I'd also been down there for GCAP Gaming Festival and PAX. And I was just so overwhelmed by how great and so well supported the gaming community is down in Melbourne. And when I came back to my hometown of Sydney, I was like, what's going on in Sydney? There's not enough going on in the indie gaming sort of sphere. So I spoke to 107 Projects about putting on something, and they were like, hey, we've had the same idea. We want to put on something that's a gaming related event as well. And so it went from there, and I sort of knew quite a few game developers and other game-related music performers. So I introduced them to Megan, who's actually the curator of all of the indie games that are on today. So she's a game reviewer and knows a lot of the game devs and has been reviewing for many, many years. So she was responsible for all of that, along with in collaboration with 107. And then I just focused on the live music part of it. So I contacted some of the people that I know in that scene, and it's a pretty small and quirky scene. It's very subculture. It's very focused and small.
Definitely.
So there's not a huge pool of people you can draw upon. So yeah, but I was really excited to find the right people, and everybody that's here tonight performing is so enthusiastic and would have been here anyway to play the games and hang out. And actually some of the performers, their music is featured in the games that are on display today, like Julian from the Consoles and Pyan, also our first performer. So yeah, we've had 5 live performance acts tonight. We've had a female game music composer, Pyan, who's from Malaysia originally. She had a live ensemble with 4 people, and she played live to her game Vision. And then we had Victory Road, an awesome chiptune performer from Gosford, who's also performed down at Square Sounds. And he was performing on his Game Boys, 2 modified Game Boys, which is what they call LSDJ. They modify the Game Boys and play the Game Boys like an instrument. And then we've just had Nick Knack, who's from the famous cult band Toy Death, which is the band that plays all with circuit bent toy instruments. So they modify the toy instruments and perform with those. And he also used a Game Boy. And he also worked with Abstract Doll, a live performance artist who was dancing tonight. So that was very interesting and amazing and unique. And then right now we have the Consoles playing, who are a video game jazz group, and they are just an awesome, very skillful jazz players that are just really passionate about games and game music. They also write music for original music for games, but tonight they're playing all your favorite, big game themes that you can imagine. Yeah, so yeah, and then I'm last. Battery last.
Let's look at Battery. So can you tell us a little bit about Battery's sound?
Yeah, so my sound sort of comes. Originally, I was performing. I've been performing for about 8 years, and I just started out as an electronic instrumental act, and then about 5 years ago, I got into writing music for games. And I sort of got my first game gig ever because the game dev liked my instrumental electronica music, and they thought that sounds like it'd work with a game. And that relationship has developed, and I've done 6 games with that game dev in Sydney. Some popular games like One More Line, One More Dash, and Thumb Drift, which are huge games, been downloaded 12 million times each, which is crazy. And so I really enjoyed the artistic license that they allowed. They would be really happy for me to write just crazy music. If there would never be any requests to tone it back. I'd always be, allowed to just make it wilder and crazier. And I really enjoyed that. And of course, the games are really fun and really creative. So I also perform my game music live. So that's what I'll be doing tonight, playing some of my original electronica tracks that I've released just as music, and also some of the game soundtracks I've released as part of a game. So yeah, that's what I'm doing.
You sound like you're very busy. If people wanted to stay up to date with you, how can they do that?
Oh, great. Yeah, I'm on Facebook and Twitter. So at Battery Music is my Twitter, and on Facebook I'm Battery Music. I've also got a website, battery.com.au. And I put most of my stuff up on the website for gigs coming up, and also for the games that are released and any conferences that I'm talking at as well. Yeah.
Sure. Well, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for your initiative for getting PlayFare up and running.
Yeah, well, it's great to be involved. I mean, 107, a community-run space. Yeah, I've definitely got to thank 107 and also the City of Sydney Council, who are very supportive of this sort of thing, which is great. And Mountain Goat Beer, who's the sponsor, who make this happen, so that we can,
Definitely.
yeah, have it all happening. So yeah, thanks.
Mustn't forget 1989 Arcade Bar, who provided the machines behind us.
If you haven't been there, you've got to check out this bar in Newtown that has all of the cool retro arcade games.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, you're about to go on stage, so we'll let you go. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks so much for the chat. Thanks.
I'm here with Zoe, one of the producers behind Princesses vs. Dragons. Hey Zoe, how are you?
Oh, not too bad. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. All right, so what can you tell us about the storyline of this game?
Oh, well, I mean, it's exactly as it sounds. It's Princesses vs. Dragons, where I guess the last line of defense against the fearsome baby dragons are, group of princesses with nets. So the idea of the game is that you choose your side and you dragon princess and you catch each other. It's meant for families, something that parents can leave their children alone with and enjoy, but also be able to play with. It's very reminiscent of 90s style consoles, so Mario Kart battle mode type stuff. Definitely Spyro, though we are legally distinct from Spyro. I feel the need to. So that's the general gist of the game.
For sure. So how did you come up with this concept?
Well, to be honest, the whole team is rather gender and sexually diverse, and two of them are definitely old Spyro fans, and I think they really just wanted to make Spyro. But when they pitched it, it was, how about we add princesses? And yeah, that's what we ran with, and there was definitely a market. There's a very strong brand awareness. I guess, 6-year-olds are very into both dragons and princesses. Let's put it that way.
So it sounds like you're onto a winner.
Yeah, I hope so.
So this game isn't quite out yet, but if people would like to stay up to date with it or purchase it in the future, how can they do that?
We're doing a soft release, I think, end of this month or early next month. The date hasn't been entirely finalised. The release will be on Steam. Follow us on our Facebook page, Princesses vs. Dragons. That'll keep you up to date with release and any other updates.
Well, we look forward to it, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.